Hey guys, Ycoms here and welcome back to F1 League Racing on the channel. Finally I'm returning to the AOR Hype Energy of F1 League, as it is called now, and gonna compete in PC F1 for Season 15. If you want to know like who is driving in this league, what my thoughts are really coming into this season, then you should check out my previous video, I think. And just jump straight into it. This is round number 1, obviously, as at Australia, as per usual. And I mean, it's a few months since I've done the league race on the game. So yeah, it's really about coming back, settling into it, try to not, make too many mistakes in the race, and maybe that might be enough to get a point or two in this race. That would be really satisfying. I would be really satisfied with that if that would happen. And also had quite a good setup, to be honest, thanks to NLIVA, by the way, even though it was on a different platform, but setup worked quite well. And we are here in qualifying on my final run. Coming onto my final run, you can see at the top my PB basically over the week, and also my PB on from the session. So let's have a look how this goes. Going on to my final run in qualifying, trying to break as late as possible for turn 1. We're not hitting the apex whatsoever, and we're pretty lucky actually to not get our lap invalidated there, because we're a little bit off the track there in turn number 2. Trying to break as late as possible once again in turn number 3. Not hitting the curb there on the inside in turn 3, trying to open up turn 4 as much as possible. That was pretty okay, but turn 1 did the damage basically in that first sector. So now coming into the second sector, this corner is something I'm really struggling with. A little bit cautious, I have to say, because this is my final run and I have not set a good lap time at all, really, in this session so far. Into the Clark chicane. I don't like this chicane, and we missed the apex there quite a bit as well, which compromised our exit. And that was the end of the second sector. Now coming into the final sector, which I'm usually quite good at in this, in qualifying anyway, but we were very cautious, a little bit off the apex as well, not carrying as much speed as usual through that section. And now there's only a few corners to go in this qualifying session, going very nicely through turn 13, I think that was, then 14, and then this penultimate corner, very tricky, trying to have a straight braking as possible, and now opening up the final corner as much as possible, short shifting into 5th gear, opening up the DRS and not running too wide. And that was a lap around Australia, and can you say that that was, I think, one of my worst qualifying laps I've done in quite a while in league racing, and it was still enough for P11. So I will start with fresh tires on the grid, so that's not too bad. But I was relatively disappointed with the lap itself and with the time, because I was considerably going faster in practice towards the end of the week. And you can see it's no surprise to see Brendan Lee at the top, but he's clear by 3/10. There were multiple people who really had issues in qualifying with the with the pressure and stuff like that, new season and stuff like that. So qualifying session was not really too strong, to be honest. I was surprised to be still in P11 with a 21-0, because I've seen so many people going so much faster over the week. And but we are in a good position. That is my strategy, going starting on the softs, going on to the super softs quite early on, maybe lap 13 or something like that, because the super softs are just so much quicker. And the ultra soft, super soft is not really an option, in my opinion. At least not this season, unfortunately, I have to say. But we're going to go straight into this round. By the way, my teammate is starting in P13, if I'm not mistaken. So let's have a look. We have got 5 lads here in Melbourne, and they are already trying to get a decent launch. Well, we didn't really manage to do that, as we are quite terrible and start going into turn 1. We have the outside line, which is actually quite beneficial. We're going around the outside of non-runner here, and that Stiff got cut off guard there by Marcel Keith, and now we are up into P number 9, or are we? As Stiff is still trying to hang it around the outside. We're going to leave him the room a little bit on the outside, but now he has the inside of turn number 4, and he's going to understeer into us, and we are off the track, and we are losing the back end, and that is our teammate on the left hand side, and he got pushed into the wall by our oversteering car, and that was not a good start to this race at all. Especially not because it was my teammate who I just collected with my oversteer. Stupid, I have to say, pushing off the got pushed off the track. That was not good, but I definitely made the mistake coming back onto the track and not taking that curb, that huge bumpy curb there into account. And I lost the back end. and that gave Failure ahead of us some damage. You can see that quite considerably. He's understeering, and I did not feel well at all, really, through the entirety of that race. But that incident just was like, come on, what? Like, that was the last thing I would have wanted, really, to start the season. And as we're already getting a warning in that corner, which is really interesting, and not hitting that apex either. But yeah, things like that happen. Sometimes your brain just gets caught off guard, and then used to think stupid things like that. And we still need to continue. Still 28 laps to go, and yeah, we still, like, for us personally, we obviously lost time, but we didn't get any damage. We're still the lead car of all the soft runners, so it's like, for us itself, it's like not too bad, but obviously it's like it's not really what I wanted at all, really. Especially not that my teammate got involved in that, and I think some other cars as well had to pit, really, because there was a huge checkup again after that. So yeah, not a good start to this race. We are on lap 3 now. At the end of lap 3, we got Marek and I think that was Bono House in the Williams behind us on the fresh Ultrasoft. They both started outside of the top 10. So we expect them maybe to overtake us, really, and I wasn't really too bothered. Yeah, that they would overtake us. There we go. We're going into lean, braking early, but I thought actually Marek would be clear into turn 1, but he actually wasn't. But it's never doesn't really matter too much. And Bono is quite close now as well. He might have to go up the inside, and I don't really see the point in defending that one. There we go, leaving room on the inside and starting in behind him into turn number 4. That's down. That's us down into P number 12. But obviously we are a little bit on a different strategy, and we will get them most likely on our super softs once they go onto the softs. Most likely. The super softs will last. The ultra soft super soft is an option to go, but I just figured out, like, it's not really that worth it, in my opinion, to do it. And yeah, it's Graham Carroll unfortunately already, like, left the session or disconnected, I don't know. He got caught up in that first lap shenanigans as well. I think there were two separate things that happened. One in turn 1 where some people got collected, and the other one was obviously when me coming back onto the track, oversteering, and that put Failure, as I said before, in the wall, which is not really good. We're skipping on to lap 9. Quite a huge jump, actually. Not really much happened. Now the people starting to pit. And yeah, that puts us up into P number 4. I think Brendan Lee, for example, there we can see on the soft, he pitted on lap 7. He was the first one to pit. He was not really into any danger, I think, really, of getting undercut, getting an undercut as well, to be honest. So yeah, he is the lead car at the moment. And well, he will definitely go to the end from lap 7 onwards. That's definitely possible with the softs. I think anything what is like before that, it's gotta be like not too beneficial, but I think lap 7 is really like a good lap to pit, really, on the soft, and that's what I would have done as well if I would have started inside the top 10. But yeah, at the moment I have no idea where I am, really, in comparison to other cars. We're now skipping on to lap 12. And we've got Formula Danny actually still out on these used to Ultrasoft tires. He didn't have a good qualifying, to be honest. He's qualified P9 or P8 or something, so very bad qualifying. And yeah, he went for a huge strategy gamble. I'm not sure how he quite managed that to stay out onto lap 12. He must have been in puncture territory quite a bit. We were catching him quite a bit as well in the last couple of laps, but someone else is catching us quite considerably, which is Brendan Lee, obviously on fresher soft tires and having huge pace advantage anyway compared to us. And this is lap 13. We might be he might actually get the DRS at the end of this lap. So yeah, this was my scheduled pit lap anyway, so I think I'm just going to go in to try not to lose any more time, really. And yeah, in general, like this first stint though, that's not really how you take that corner. Actually, like in general, this first stint didn't go too bad after the first lap, really. Lap times were not quite where I wanted them to be, and especially like in the second sector and with the turn 11 12, I was struggling quite a bit, to be honest. Not quite finding the rhythm I had in practice, but it was not terrible, really. Pace was not terrible in this first stint, so I can live with that, and try to maximize the super soft stint, which should easily last really until the end of the race, and yeah, see if we can catch up some people and maybe get a point or two, even though the gap to, you know, that front runners was really large, really, after the first stint, after that first lap. And yeah, we're gonna go in the pits before Brendan catches up to us. I think he appreciates that as well, because I think he might even get the DRS on this straight. Trying to slow the car down in time. And they're now fitting the super soft tires. And yeah, hopefully we'll come out in clean air. Well, we will have to make moves anyway, because many people ahead of us are on super softs anyway. There goes Stanley, by the way. He went onto the he went on the super soft. And there goes Bono House, and we're not too far behind him, so that's definitely not too bad at all, really. As we are now ahead of Stiff. So yeah, we are pretty much in clean air. You can see like a huge bunch of cars there up there, and that's definitely the group I wanted to catch towards the end of the race. So we might be in here for a treat for a points finish, really. Even though, yeah, exactly. That was one of the reasons, one of the things I didn't want to happen, getting a penalty. And I have to say, really, turn 11-12 is just not a corner that I like. And especially that night in that race, I was terrible in it. You saw it in qualifying, I was not really committed to it. And I got 2 of my warnings in that particular corner as well. So it was really not good. Not good lines, not good track limits from me really in that race, I have to admit. And something I really need to work on tracks like these, where it's just really like the margin is so small by going a little bit off the track or just staying in the track limits. But yeah, let's concentrate a little bit here on this overtake as we're going past Bono House. He's not gonna defend that. I think he knows we are on the better tyres, and if he wants to get any points, it's not going to help him to defend from us for the next 13 laps. So yeah, we went past him. That's very, very good for us, to be honest. And now we have 2.4 seconds behind Marek as Cody Blanton, which is Raven, sets the fastest lap. I think also on super soft, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, lap 20 we caught up to Marek, and we need to make this move as quickly as possible. For some reason we are in P10. Oh yeah, that was because you can see behind Fabrizio Donoso, who finished P2 and well, he got started second if I'm not mistaken. He went actually onto a 2-stop strategy, which is very, very interesting, to be honest. And yeah, he decided to go for that, and he's definitely going to catch us in the next few laps. And we are quite close behind. Marek had a good run out of turn 1 and 2. And let's see if he's going to go defensive. Yes, he's going to go defensive, so we have to go around the outside. We're trying to brake as late as possible. But he brakes late as well, and there's no way we can make that move stick around the outside, and we have to stay behind him for another lap. Yeah, I mean, now we are into the points area, and I think Marek knows, like, it is not impossible to defend from me, really. My tyre's obviously so much better than his, but it's not impossible for him to defend it for the next few laps. So, yeah, I think it's very, very legitimate that he's fighting for the position as hard as possible. And Fabrizio Donoso has already caught up to us, as he was like 2 seconds behind us a lap ago. So he is rapid on these ultra softs, and we're trying to just keep it on the track just about. We managed to do that, but yeah, Fabrizio Fab has a much better run, and he's going to go up the inside. I'm not going to fight that. He's so much quicker on these tires, trying to not get pushed off the track, but luckily he's not doing that. As he doesn't need to anyway, because I was not fighting that position anyway. So let's see if he can get past Marek pretty quickly, and if I can capitalize on that as well. That would be very, very helpful. Although you can see just the understeer we're getting through that final corner compared to Fab. And going into turn number 1, we're braking a little bit too late. I wanted to maximize that corner as much as possible, but we just didn't get quite the run there. And now, yeah, Marek is not going to fight Fabrizio, which is not going to help either, because yeah, it's not going to benefit me at all. And yeah, there goes Fabrizio up into second place. That's Marek hitting the wall. I'm not sure if he got any damage. I don't think he did, but he just could not capitalize on that. We had to go off the throttle, otherwise we would have slammed to the back of him. But yeah, lap 20, at the end of that lap, we're still behind him. There's not really too many overtaking opportunities that he gave us really so far. I want to make the move stick, because I want to get back into the points. This is a legitimate, really, battle for a points paying position, and it could be, and it would be I would be really satisfied if I would get a point of this one. And it's definitely not impossible here to get past Marek. We are a little bit too far back here on this particular straight. But we're trying to maximize once again. The run into turn number 1, not quite getting the exit though. I think we're a little bit too far back, and let's see if Marek is not gonna go defensive. No, but I decided to go for it anyway. Locking up a little bit, wheel bumping, but we didn't understeer into him. Round the outside into turn number 4. We've got the line into turn number 5, and we've made the move stick, an aggressive move. Something I'm not really doing too often, but I think like at that moment it was necessary, and I think it was a clean and a fair move against Marek, and it was a crucial move here to maybe secure a point-paying position towards the end of the race. Going for the clash again, we're getting a little bit wide, a little bit of oversteer, and that is in the background. Marek, who was, well, quite alongside once I lost the back end, and it's the second incident where someone gets affected by me just having an oversteer moment. Well, this one was not as bad as the one with failure. This one was just really unlucky, but I just like, yeah, I decided to wait. I decided to wait for him, even though he said to me like on the Discord, I was like, carry on, I've got front wing damage, there's no point in waiting for me. But I was like, nah mate, it was my fault. I don't think that like if it would have gone to the stewards and I would have carried on, that I would have got a penalty, because can't really punish me for losing the backhand a little bit, as it was not as excessive against the one with failure. That definitely would have been worth a penalty, really, if that would have gone to the stewards, but it didn't. Yeah, I just didn't feel really good doing that, so I went into the pits with him also to just, you know, be a little bit kind, I guess. And his front wing did not get changed, so yeah. So that's not good for him at all, but we are pretty much out of contention now for points anyway. It has not been a great race, I have to admit. It has been one of maybe the worst races I drove in this league since quite a while, I think. I think like driving wise, really, I've done so much better since quite a while in this league, and I think, yeah, that was really the signs of not having quite really the experience on this game anymore, just lacking league racing experience, which is different. It is different, like when you commit to other games or other sims really in the same time, and then you're coming back to this. It's just a whole different story. F1 league racing is a different story than iRacing, for example, and that's something I need to get used to again. And I think you saw it like in this race a couple of times, that I did mistakes that are not typical for me anyway, but we are currently behind Stiff here on the penultimate lap, and he's also on ultra soft tires, and we're trying to go around the outside here against the man who pushed us off the track previously, but he's not going to do that this time round. We got the inside line for turn number 4, leaving him a little bit of room on the exit, and that was actually quite a surprising move. Oh, that's a car in the wall. I think it was a Ferrari. That was Carrick's in the wall. He retired from the session. And with that move now against Stiff, that means we are actually into a legitimate points-paying position. And I'm not quite sure how this happened, really. And I was not really expecting it to happen at all. And I didn't really care too much, because I didn't feel well about my driving anyway. That was a nice corner as well. Cuff. Brendan Lee has already crossed the line on this final lap here, winning the race quite comfortably, to be honest. And I will most likely finish in P number 10 unless Stiff does not have any penalties, but the engineer told me like this on this final lap that he got one as well, so I will definitely get that P10 in the end. So to say, I've reached my target of getting a point. That was my target before the race, getting a point on the board. That was my target. But first of all, I should have driven better. In general, these two things that happened with Fedor and Marek should not have happened. That's the first thing. And secondly, my pace was not there where I was in practice. So like in terms of like points, I'm happy. But in terms of performance wise, how I did it was not how I wanted it to do. And it's not how I should have done it, really. So yeah, lots of like things to take from this race. Not many positives, I have to say. Getting P10 in the end is obviously like good, but you know, it's like not performance wise, it's not really what I want to do. If I get like a P10 with a very good, like, you know, for battle and good pace and stuff like that, I would be happy. I would have been happy, but in that case, I was not really happy. Yeah, as you can see, the top 13 here was Brendan ahead of Tim, actually. Very, very good race for him. And Danny somehow managed to get up into P3, so incredible recovery from him. Then was Failure in the end, who finished P number 12. That could have been definitely a double points finish for us with having a good strategy, I think, on these soft tires. But, you know, it's just wasn't meant to be. I didn't feel good. He didn't feel great either about myself. And yeah, that's just sometimes how it goes, and we have to deal with it. But yeah, next time out we have at China, which is a track I obviously quite like, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, hopefully things go a little bit better there in terms of driving in general, and hopefully a little bit more action as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video reasonably, and yeah, we'll see you there. Bye bye.